Alright, everyone, back to the channel. Welcome back to Vedic Astrology X. Today, what we're going to be covering, as we continued from our last video, is how the Arudha Lagna has its importance within your chart, in your life, and how it will play out in terms of your outward expression to the world. So, the number one point of the Arudha Lagna is sort of its manifestation on the reality that other people see of you, and in a way, through a roundabout way, it actually does reflect how you are seen in the world, which actually is dependent upon yourself as well, and how it sort of becomes like a manifested or real reality in terms of how you live life, right? But one thing to keep in notice is that it is the outward expression of how people see of you. So it might not be the whole exact truth or the reality of what's going on, but it will definitely have some sort of say in how other people perceive and view you. And that is the main purpose of this. In our last discussion in the Arudha Lagna in Aries, we talked about how the power of the Kalpurish sign number one was impacting the person's appearance, their energy, and their outward expression. And for a lot of the time, for that particular sign, you have people who are bold and courageous. Yes, you do saw me pick my nose a little bit. Sorry about that, but the Taurus Arudha Lagna is going to have somebody who is a much more, I would say, fair person. Somebody who is, you could say, is a good looking person, right? I actually know of a few people who have this position, and when you see them, no matter where they are, no matter what they're doing, I feel like they get a warm or nice natured vibe from people, where people would look at them and say, wow, this person has some sort of nice grace to them, maybe some beauty, maybe some attitude that makes people just sort of like them, right? And they don't have to be the most beautiful looking person, but somehow, some way, they carry that energy that will make people sort of feel at calm and at peace with what they are saying, and they might even want to sort of, do business with them, for example, where there's a very outwardly jovial sort of personality, and people will feel that just this person is a bit of a joker, and also a bit of a person who can dress well, always has a nice sense of fashion, and also understands how to make make money. A person, when they see them, they would say, wow, this person has some sort of affluence and some sort of wealth in their life, even if they don't really have much. Even if they were working on a budget, they still somehow, some way would make it look like they are part of a opulent lifestyle, and that they're making good amounts of money. To whereas maybe if they buy a vehicle, it would be on the higher end of the vehicles out there, and a more luxury model, right? Because their outward expression is based on that energy of Taurus. And Taurus originally is to do with the sign of money, the second house. So all of those features, because the second house would also include your face and your voice and things of that nature, they could have a pleasing, facial structure, a pleasing voice that people will just kind of gravitate towards. Even if supposing somebody is working in a bank, per se. I know some people who the clients will literally wait in line to talk to this specific individual because they feel such a good vibe when they're talking to them, right? Now, this person I'm talking about, they also have a Cancer Lagna in their normal basic chart. So, if you break that down, you have the sort of outwardly Venus expression that people will see at the forefront, which then is backed up by that homely expression of Cancer, which kind of gives that combination and energy and makes a person really, really, I guess you could say, a trustworthy person and somebody who kind of understands more on the homely basis of things and can give off a family natured vibe, because also the Taurus is the second house and Cancer being the fourth house. This person is more of a homebodied nature, and they would be talking about their family more, and that's kind of what they are able to convey to other people, that they have a certain love for family and its ideas, and people resonate with that heavily a lot of the time, because family is one of the pillars in our life, right? And besides the family, supposing if we had a Gemini ascendant and then we had a Taurus or Arudha Lagna. And then for example, for that one we do have somebody who's going to be having that same Venezuelan Taurus Lagna appearance from the out front. But when you get to know them, they really are gonna knock your socks off with their communication skills, because they at the forefront have such a nice appearance about them, but then when you actually hear them talk, you're gonna say, "Wow, this person is not only aesthetically or having some fashion sense and that sort of pleasing, but he can talk as well." And really, I feel like it's a good placement to have, because you do get that sort of, in today's modern day and world, you get that boost of being a really, presentable person. I also would find like these type of people will have quite a bit of stable or presenting and reliability as well, because Taurus is the sign of, I would say, the most stability, second to Capricorn, and that it's able to give people that sort of understanding, and people feel safe in their presence in terms of getting work done or getting business completed. So it definitely helps in today's modern day and age. If supposing you had um, a more of an intense sign, supposing if you had like a mula as your lagna ascendant in your main basic chart, what you would have then is that the person would have that Taurus appearance in the out front, but when you get to know them, they could be a much more of a person who's an intense individual and also is not too afraid of things, but they also could be quite powerful, right, underneath that exterior disposition. And they might even throw people off a little bit to think, hey, I thought that you were a very calm or nice person, which they definitely could be, but that Mula energy is known to be quite intense instead. So their life path is going to be a lot more intense than a typical Taurus in this position would have. So it really does depend on the chart, as always, in terms of this. But in general, I would say having the Taurus and the Arudha Lagna gives off a vibe of good fashion sensibility, and overall pleasing appearance, a good ability to talk, and also giving a stable and reliable sort of vibe about them. They could be materialistic people, and they could present themselves as having attachments to the finer things in life, which in today's day and time is actually the norm. Um, so it's a pretty normal thing, and even in that circumstance, they could be the ones who stand out the most. Even if, supposing you use this Arudha Lagna to be on social media and stuff like that, the first thing people will see is your ability or your fashion sense or your beauty and things of that nature. So, really, in today's modern day and age, if you use this well, it could help you grow a following, it could help you land, higher positions in life. This could definitely strengthen business, and then it would depend on what the rest of the chart is saying for them to know exactly what type of business this could land you in. But having that Taurus definitely will give you the upper hand. Another thing is that they also would give off a sensual and nature and charm, and people will gravitate towards them um, pretty easily, right? Whereas, for example, the Aries gives off a much more aggressive or dominating vibe. These people are more of getting along and showing that reliability and that you're a team player. So, for the most part, what I've seen is they will not even have much of a hard time getting along with people. And people usually admire them or adore them in some way or another. And of course, it'll depend what planet is there as well. And for example, as we know, Moon would be the most comfortable here, and your creative ideas will just be flourishing. Anytime anyone sees you, they're gonna say, "Wow, this guy's ideas and his mind are what make him his personality, and they really shine," right? Whereas if you had Taurus, it could be more of a hard worker, but in terms of getting creative things done, right? But it creates a more stable nature in terms of that, and generating money at a slower pace, but just grinding and grinding. When I think of that, it'll be more of like an independent businessman or a company grinder who will always be persistently putting in their effort in hopes of that it'll just get things done for them. And usually the results come in very, very good for these people. Also, you will find that these people have a bit of a self sufficient nature as well, even though that they come off as a very aesthetically pleasing and Taurus sort of energy and a welcoming nature. They also can be independent people as well. And that's what you will see when they are expressing themselves, right? Like the most beautiful ascendant here, Lagna Nakshatra wise, would probably be having the Rohini. If you had Rohini here, people will just say, "Wow, this person is really just beautiful to look at," right? The other one you could have is Kritika. Kritika, you would have a much more of a commanding demeanor, and people will just say, "Wow, this person is just gives off a vibe of being good in the material sense, but also being somebody who can really hold it down and be a leader and somebody that can guide the group or the people, right?" And then you have Mrikshara, where Mrikshara also has quite a mighty disposition, and they, instead of being the leaders like Kritika, I would say they're leaders in their own way, in that I think this is one of the most musically gifted nakshatras. So if you were to pursue something in music, having that mrikshara there would definitely help and allows people to see that this person is always seeking something and always trying to, get enjoying sort of the hunt. So this type of individual would definitely enjoy having a lot of things in life, a lot of destinations to go to, and when people see them, they might think of them as like a world traveler or a collector of experiences in the world. So once again, it always depends in Vedic astrology where who is doing what to what planet, and all of the planets are active at all times. And then again, the dashas and everything will play a part as well. But this is just the basic idea of how people will perceive you with having the Taurus in the Arudha Lagna. So, thank you very much for your time and have a great day.